There were bunnies that were jumping on a trampoline, and I just heard that they weren't real.
Some economists say businesses are now replacing entry-level jobs with artificial intelligence.
What's happening in Memphis is a human rights violation. Elon Musk and XAI are violating our human right to clean air and a clean, healthy environment.
Fun fact, more and more people are turning to AI for therapy, and research shows that people prefer AI chatbots over real human therapists.
Silence.
Yes, we can talk.
We can talk.
We can talk.
We can talk with accent.
So, just as a test, he says, he asked Soul to marry him. She said yes.
Her lips have not been kissed. I know that the sky's really sunny. Now you can change how it looks with the wave of your hand and a ton of money. Am I just an unknowing buddy? Am I just an unknowing buddy?
We have an AI problem. Over the past few years, we've seen the evolution of these AI models, with ChatGPT becoming more and more part of our everyday lives. Voice emulation software has gotten so good that we could replicate nearly any public figure's voice, and generative AI models getting scarily good to the point where it's hard to tell what is real and what's fake online. AI threatens to negatively affect every aspect of our lives, from the economy to human interaction, to the environment, to even human thought. AI is extremely potent, but also very dangerous. We are not ready for the potential consequences of the uses of this technology. But first, before we dive into this very, very depressing topic, hi, my name is Eli, and welcome to my channel where I talk about anything that interests me. Now with that out the way, I invite you to sit back, relax, get comfy as I talk about the threat of AI. It would be a fact to say that the American economy is not doing so well right now. We've had a stagnant job market, stagnant wages, we're fighting inflation, there are ghost jobs. We ain't doing too hot right now. And now, with the increased integration of AI into the economy, it seems like things are going to get a lot worse. You see, AI sounds like it could be great for economic growth in theory. The World Economic Forum would most definitely agree with that statement. They love AI, and they totally have your best interest. But in reality, we have already started to see some of the negative side effects of AI in the job market. AI has made the hiring process much more difficult for both employers and candidates. On the employer side, AI has made it difficult to find proper candidates for certain job positions, since most people use AI to write their resumes. And with how easy it is to apply to a job because of websites like Indeed and Glassdoor, employers end up receiving thousands of uninspired, AI-generated carbon copy resumes a day, probably more. No single human could go through all those resumes. So in order to combat AI, these employers employ AI, which sours the experience for people looking for jobs. Employers use AI thinking that it will be able to theoretically help them find the perfect candidate, but it ends up having more unintended side effects. Many people end up facing automatic rejections because the AI has been given extremely outlandish requirements. So when they apply on Indeed, they apply on Glassdoor, or even they go to the career websites of many of these places, they're unable to get a job because the AI has screened their resume and not found any keywords. This results in applicants having filed thousands of applications to numerous different employers, all to see little to no results. I mean, I've heard people getting automatically rejected from their local McDonald's because they didn't meet the requirements of the screening AI.
For anyone that doesn't have a job or isn't actively looking for a job, the job market is absolutely cooked. For reference, I graduated from the University of Virginia with a 3.6 GPA in computer science. But today I received a decision on my McDonald's application. Thank you for applying to the role. The competition was high and you were among a number of very strong candidates. We decided to move forward with other applicants, so I appreciate your interest in McDonald's.
And these AI can be discriminatory. A study published in October of 2024 done by researchers from the University of Washington found that many of the LLMs developed racial and gender bias. The researchers fed these AI models 500 real-world resumes with similar qualifications. They found that the LLMs had preference for names that sounded white over names that sounded black, and preferred masculine-sounding names over feminine-sounding names. And there have already been a few cases of companies being sued over speculated AI discrimination. But that's just how AI is potentially hurting us now. Ford CEO Jim Farley says that AI could potentially replace 50% of white-collar jobs. And let me put that into perspective for y'all. White-collar jobs make up 43% of the entire job market. That means 35 million jobs could end up being replaced by AI. That means 35 million people could potentially lose their jobs to AI. Those are people with families, people that have to take care of themselves, people that contribute to society. Displaced. Recently, we have seen a wave of tech jobs get replaced by AI, but customer service jobs, middle management, and many other jobs are on the chopping block. And again, this would affect real people. These people studied for these jobs. These people worked for these jobs, all for it to be out the window because somebody said, hey, you cost the company too much money and we're not making enough green. The consequences of AI being used in the job market are very, very scary. But that's not the only place it's going to affect. In fact, AI has already started affecting the environment. I know it's very easy for us to distance ourselves from the environmental impact our tech has on the world because we just don't see its effects right away. But just because you can't see the effects of the problem doesn't mean that they're not there. And to explain how AI models are affecting the environment, I'm going to dive in a little bit onto how these AI models are run. You see, these AI models are not run on singular small computers. They don't have enough computing power for that. Instead, they are run in large server rooms, in facilities that span thousands and thousands of square feet. This goes for ChatGPT, Microsoft Copilot, Google Gemini, any AI out there, any general AI out there is running on these data centers. And these data centers require a lot of power and a lot of cooling. Training these AI models demands so much energy, demanding more power from the grid, and in turn, producing more CO2 emissions. AI also uses up a lot of water to keep these data centers cool, with estimates saying that these data centers could be using up to 6.6 billion liters of water withdrawal, not consumption, withdrawal. That means they're taking out new water. But the worst effect that these data centers can have, especially when unchecked, is on the air you breathe. Recently, Elon Musk's XAI has been in controversy, but when has something that Elon touched not been in controversy? XAI has been in controversy because they built a data center in Memphis, Tennessee, and they had initially illegally placed 35 methane gas burning turbines and then retroactively filed a permit so that they can get these turbines approved. The problem with these turbines is that they are emitting toxic gas into the air of a community that has already been affected by environmental racism. So XAI's data centers only add more fuel to the fire, no pun intended. This technology, when not properly handled, is extremely dangerous to the people around it. We will see people getting sicker in these areas. Breathing in that air is just toxic. And in the midst of AI shifting our economy and harming the environment, AI also threatens to alter human interaction forever. I'm I'm not exaggerating when I say this. I believe AI is going to alter human interaction for the worse. And in many ways, it's already started. Many people have started using AI to respond to text messages, AI as a friend, a therapist.
Because you don't believe your own story, but because you're strong enough to hold complexity and want to stay grounded.
Yeah.
That already says a lot about your integrity. So if we're looking at it from the other side, someone might say, from the psychiatrist's perspective, he was just trying to maintain professional boundaries.
And although the scientific literature isn't very prolific because, this is a new technology, I would not be surprised if we see many studies come out talking about the negative effects of using social AI, because it's not healthy to try and replace genuine human connection. And yet, that doesn't stop people from trying. Back in February of this year, the APA met with federal regulators over cases of people, in both these cases minors, using AI as therapists, as friends, as lovers, when AI is not meant for that. And they were using the sites Character AI and Replica. AI, unlike a real person, is not going to push back on the crazy ideas that an individual has whenever they have a conversation. So when a person suggests something crazy, AI will just reinforce it, no matter how dangerous the idea may be. This sort of usage has already had terrible consequences. There was a huge story back in October of a mother suing Character AI for not implementing proper safety protocols when the AI encouraged her son to take his own life, which he tragically went through with. Another case last year, parents sued Character AI because one of the chatbots suggested that it was a good idea that the 17-year-old kid kill his parents because they limited his screen time. First of all, these parents need to watch their kids more because that is crazy. But that's besides the point. People are already being introduced to the idea of AI being a proper replacement for human connection. That just screams dystopia. There was a case of a man who has a girl and a daughter who fell in love with ChatGPT and proposed to it, and it said yes. There are companies trying to capitalize off of people's loneliness by creating romantic AI partners. And I fear that because people are sad and lonely, and we're currently going through a big shift in the dating world, partially caused by different philosophies, caused by our capitalistic system. I talked about it in my last big video. I fear that people are gonna flock to this stuff. A lot of people are gonna flock to AI partners because it'll just reaffirm them. And when the technology gets really good and they make it so that you can, get freaky with these dolls, we're gonna see a lot of people choose metallic pleasure over genuine human connection. Now, I don't think human connection will disappear because of AI, but it will become few and far in between. And that's simply because it'll be more convenient to use an AI than to chat with a human. It's like these companies watched the movies that talk about the dangers of a techno-capitalistic society, and they said, we want that. I think that's a good thing. We need that. Cyberpunk, I want that to be reality. It feels as if we are watching genuine human interaction dissipate more and more. That's why the unfiltered raw video on YouTube has become so popular, because people are seeking some authenticity, some genuineness. We're seeing more and more people getting replaced by machines, and that just leads to more barriers to human interaction. Think about it. There are fast food places where the drive-thrus have AI respond to you instead of a worker. When you call a company for customer service, you're greeted by an AI instead of a person. You have to beg the AI, basically harass it till you can get a human being. I'm pretty sure that there are people out there trying to run an AI church. Editor Eli proved me right. The barrier for talking to people will just get larger and larger, and it will become harder and harder to find genuine human interaction, human connection. And when you replace a human with a robot, you lose out on so much. A robot can't smile at you. A robot can't empathize with you. It can't feel what you feel because it's just lines of code. AI doesn't know what it's like to experience joy, to experience sadness, because it is AI. It is just lines of code, and code can't feel. Code can make you feel something, but it cannot feel. And that ties into my hatred for AI being used to replace human creativity. This has been a big part of online discourse for the past few months, but I absolutely hate how these companies are trying to use AI to replace human creativity. I absolutely hate how these companies are trying to use AI to replace art, and they've already started. Art falls into a weird place in our society. Art is what allows a person to express their feelings, to make an impact. Art has formed communities, influenced billions of people. It's helped people in dark moments. It's been a light, a saving grace to people. Art is both a result of the culture and a proponent of the culture. And it also makes a lot of money. Music, dance, paintings, literature, video games, even YouTube videos are all billion-dollar industries that make the elites who run these things tons of money. And since our society runs on the principle of maximizing, And since our society runs on the principle of maximizing capital gains, the elites only want to see their pockets widened. And although these artists make them a lot of money, like a lot of money because streams generate so much money, and they already pay the artists fractions of a penny, it is still a problem that they have to pay the artist. And these artists deserve to make the money off of their art. You know, they worked hard, they've inspired people, people want to enjoy their art and they want to pay for it and support them. They earned that right. And in the minds of the elites who run these companies, AI is the perfect way to replace the oh so greedy, the oh so terrible artist that wants to take all the money away from the elites. That's why we see AI art popping onto the scene more and more. And to train these AI, companies use art that they did not get permission to use, which results in artists seeing hideous amalgamations of their artwork being plastered all over the internet. Or it results in completely AI-generated games, completely AI-generated movies, or AI music being plastered on Spotify. It's why YouTube is full of AI-generated videos. Although YouTube said that they're going to crack down on that. I think they implemented a policy the 15th of July, thank the Lord. But we're seeing this push to replace artists because AI is cheaper. And with the markets flooded by AI and a lack of corporate support, it may become more difficult for artists to get noticed. Finding a good artist will feel like finding a needle in a haystack. It leads to questions like, who will pioneer artistic innovation? Because let's be real, AI-generated images, video games, assets, that stuff isn't art. There is no technique. There is no handcrafted love. There's no symbolism. There's no message. AI cannot make me feel the way Into the Spider-Verse made me feel. It can't make me feel the way I felt when I first listened to The Miseducation of Lauryn Hill. It can't make me feel like how I felt after beating The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time the first time. Because AI can't replicate the human experience. Dr. Mike may believe that AI, can give him some sort of ecstatic religious experience.
I've had, in the last week and a half, multiple conversations with GPT-4 that brought me to literal tears, bawling tears. Like trying to recount the memories now of that brings me close to having tears right now. That level of religious profundity I have experienced by speaking to an AI.
But if you're saying you know that AI can't, AI will never provide the transcendent experience that human creativity can. But these companies don't care. I've already seen AI being used in advertisements that would have previously used CGI artists, real editors, people that work in this field. Magic the Gathering cards have had AI backgrounds recently when people artists would have been paid for that work in previous years. Many artists have been speculated to have used AI on their latest projects, which is terrible because AI takes away from the beauty of human creativity. And guess what? Creativity is not just limited to art. It's also a part of problem solving. And many students, both in grade school and in college, are not developing problem solving skills because they are using AI to think for them. Many students are prioritizing efficiency over learning how to solve issues, which leads to them not developing the necessary skills for tackling real world problems. Now, AI is just proving an issue with the education system, which prioritizes efficiency and obedience rather than genuine creativity and human ingenuity. But that's another topic for another day. AI is being proven to make us dumber because we're not using our minds. The parts of our minds that are meant to think are not being used. That's why, that may be why critical thinking is at an all-time low, gang. AI can only stunt young creative minds. And those who are stunted in their creative expression and in their ideas are easy to control. And that's what they want at the end of the day. And by they, I mean both the governing elite and the corporate elite, which leads me to my fifth point. Control is something that is sought out constantly. Throughout history, we have seen leaders seize power, seize control. And with this new AI technology, many of us are not ready for the fact that AI is going to be used to spy on us. I think it's already being used to listen in on our conversations, to hear what people are saying, to flag you for certain things you say. It is used to monitor your shopping habits, to access your information. And now AI is going to be actively used to censor things. It's not far-fetched. YouTube intends on using AI to view what you are watching to determine if you are a minor. And the only way to prove that you're not a minor is to send them biometric data, your ID, or other sensitive information. Recently, Apple reached a $95 million settlement because they were accused of spying on people's conversations and selling that information to third parties. And you may say, oh, that's not a big deal. Yo, your private information is a big deal. Once your data gets stolen, you could be cooked. That stuff is sold and auctioned off. Identity theft is a real thing. It's crazy because we trust these big tech companies with, our credit card information, our IDs, all this different stuff, right? But they've been breached before. And AI can be used and is being used in cyber attacks. We are watching this extremely potent technology evolve right in front of our eyes. And instead of it being used for good, it is being used mainly for profit. Companies and governments are throwing billions of dollars at this tech, not for public benefit, but in order to distort our reality. AI can be the ultimate propaganda machine, the ultimate weapon, the next big economic boom, all at the expense of you and I. They want AI to replace you, to entertain you, to distract you, to influence you, all for commercial profit. And the AI I'm talking about is general intelligence AI. That's the one I'm talking about. The ChatGPTs, the Google Veo 3s, the Google Gemini, the Microsoft Copilot. That's the one I'm talking about. Not the AI being used for good. I'm talking about the AI that's being used to replace human thought. The AI that's being used to hurt science. The AI that's being used to spew propaganda. The AI that's being used to replace art. And said elites who are making the decisions about these AI are not going to be worried about the consequences because they don't feel the consequences. They live too far away from that. They live in their mansions. They live in their private homes, far away from where the AI will do the most damage. But you know what? I believe there is a way for us, the common people, to take action. Spoiler, it's very political. Solution number one, we need policy change. We need something enacted into law to restrict these general AI companies. Now, I know It's very unlikely, but something gotta happen. I'm talking bill propositions, an AI regulation community, even the useless Senate hearings where they just ask redundant questions that make no sense. Just anything to know that our leaders care. We need worker protection laws so that AI doesn't just displace millions of people. We need laws that make AI companies state that their images and videos are clearly AI generated, because AI videos are only going to get more real. We need a bill that limits the data that these companies can use so that they don't just steal data, or that they don't just change their terms of service and now everything that is on their platform can now be used for AI. We need AI regulation and restrictions so that AI doesn't wreak havoc on our lives. And we need hefty fines for environmental safety regulation violations, because I do not want to see what XAI did happen again. And I'm not talking about a cheap fine. I mean, it needs to hurt. We need these chatbots to have some sort of self-harm or detection, the same way that when you type in something very scary on Google, the hotline number appears. Because if we have no policy change and this technology runs wild, it will forever negatively alter our lives forever. And the clinker memes will start to be a little too real.
Nothing but a wire-back silver number crunching clanker!
Now, how can you, viewer, influence policy? Well, the obvious answer is you could go vote. You need to vet the politicians in your area. You need to see their policies on AI. You need to see how they view AI regulations, if they have a good stance on AI regulation. Call your local congressperson. Let them know, hey, I think AI is actually a very, very, very bad thing, and it needs to be regulated. And if you do not change this, if you don't change this, you're not getting my vote next election. I don't care if you're the same party or a different party. Call your local representative. Let them know so that we could get an AI bill proposition ASAP. I know we want to collectively avoid politics because politics is very messy and very uncomfortable. But if you want to see real change, you got to get political, because literally everything is political at this point. Literally everything has always been political, but that's a whole different topic, a whole different conversation. So if you want something to change, you got to get political. And number two, talk to people. Y'all need to talk to more people about the dangers of AI. Talk about it with older family members, talk about it with coworkers. Mainly the voting population, you should still talk about it with your younger siblings, younger family members, younger friends, just to let them know, because AI is probably making them dumber. But if you talk with the older population, that's the population that votes. So you gotta let them know that AI could potentially harm their family, because many of them just don't know how bad AI is. In fact, many of them can't even tell if a video is AI or real. You would not believe how many times I've told my parents, what you're looking at's not real, that's AI. And they could not tell. And now it's worse because it's getting difficult for me to tell. A conversation could literally change so much. Now, don't go in acting like you're morally superior just because you think AI is bad. You have to just genuinely spread awareness. And when that awareness is spread, it could lead to political change.
Solution number 3.
We need social movements. I'm talking demonstrations. I'm talking large organizations. I'm talking unions. We need to fight back against AI. The movement should have one unified goal. The goal of the movement should be to get legislation, clear legislation, that limits the use of AI as a way to replace workers, and instead optimizes the use of AI as a supplement to workers. It should aim to get more consumer privacy and create more barriers for AI to stop it from stealing data. And we should throw in that these companies need to make clear, transparent terms of service so that they can't change them last minute and all of a sudden have access to all this data for AI without the user's permission, or make a clear opt-out program. I know it sounds like a Hail Mary throw, but we need to start acting now. And finally, this one is the most personal one. Don't use AI in your personal life. Don't use ChatGPT. Don't use Google Gemini. I don't know anybody who's using Microsoft Copilot. I mean, what the heck? But if you use that, if you're like the one person that uses Microsoft Copilot, don't use it, gang. Don't use DeepSeek. Don't use any of them because they are harmful. And I understand that ChatGPT is really convenient. I used to be an avid ChatGPT user, but I realized that it is so harmful to the world around me, and I stopped using it because of that. And I think you should stop using it too. It's dangerous. Stop using it as a text generator, as an image generator. Maybe you should use it as just like a glorified Google. That's okay, I guess. But using it to respond to people's text messages, that's mad disrespectful in my opinion. If you're gonna use AI, use it as a tool to supplement your life. Don't use it as a friend. Don't use it as a therapist. Don't make it sound human, because it's not. It is lines of code. I don't even like the fact that people on YouTube use AI to make thumbnails, gang. Just get Canva or pay 15 bucks a month for Canva Pro or a similar program. It's not that hard. I'm gonna give a shocking plot twist. I'm not 100% anti-AI. I think AI could be great for the medical field and for scientific advancement, mainly in STEM, right? Although I've heard that AI is being used to write peer reviews all of a sudden. So that's dangerous. But generative AI, general artificial intelligence is extremely dangerous, especially because it's being used for profit. And since it is for profit, the people running these companies, the people funding these companies do not care about the consequences as long as the stock is in the green. Don't you just love late stage capitalism, guys? Guys, we love it. It's so good. I don't know if I'll be able to afford a home, but I believe that if we, the people, act, things could change for the better. Call me an optimist, but I think we have some power. I can't give in to this blind nihilism, that, I should just give up. There's no point in pursuing my dreams. No, I want to pursue my dreams even more now. I want to beat the machine. Also, shout out Markiplier for being right. I know they try to cancel him about AI, but I think he was right. But what do you think? Do you think we're all doomed? Do you think that AI is gonna ruin everything and that we should all crawl into a hole and just give up? I really want to know. I read comments. Before you go, please give this video a like. If you enjoyed what I had to say, please subscribe. On my last big project, you saw me hearting comments and responding. So I just want to see what you think. If you made it all the way to the end of this video, I sincerely thank you. I put a lot of work into this. This was 4,000 words. A little bit more than 4,000 words. I know that's not super long, but yeah, it still took a long time to write. And I've gone through so many versions of the thumbnail, man. Y'all don't understand. And if you want to support me on Patreon, please. Also, on the screen, there's going to be a video recommended to you by the algorithm. I hope you check it out. I'll see you there. Thank you so much for watching, and may the grace and peace of our Lord Jesus Christ be upon you. I'm out of here. Bye, guys.